Hey, I'm Shayna Harvey, and I'm a certified financial planner. I am the owner of Insight Total Stewardship, a registered investment advisory firm here in Havertown, Pennsylvania. Looking today to talk to you about tax refunds. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, how are you? Wanted to do just a quick video to pop out and talk to you a little bit about tax refunds. Now I know when it comes time to tax refunds, everybody is excited about getting them. We always see sales at the stores, people looking to get you to spend your refund, buy cars, buy furniture, buy clothes, whatever it is. People get excited when it comes time for tax refunds, mostly retailers and people who want to spend the money. But what does it really mean to get a tax refund? And is it conducive to your financial goals to continue to get tax refunds? There's lots of ways, of course, that people maneuver their taxes to get a refund, but does it really make sense all the time? So I just want to talk to you a little bit about what it is, so that if you're serious about getting a handle on your finances, you also want to consider your taxes and how they work. So what it means when you get a tax refund is that you have overpaid the government throughout the year. So that means that in your paycheck, you gave the government too much in taxes, more than you should actually be given in light of your total situation. So normally you fill out a W-4 form with your employer. You fill that out, you tell them how many exemptions you are claiming. You can go from 0 all the way up to typically 9. But technically you can go up to 99. Now at 99 exemptions, they don't withhold any federal tax from your paycheck. You usually don't want that though, because that means you pay no taxes and you'll end up owing if you underpay. But anywhere from 0 to 9 is typical. Anything above that 9, usually HR departments have to report that to the IRS that you're not paying your enough money in taxes. So what does it mean? Each exemption just simply means it tells the IRS how much money to withhold from your paycheck. So at 0, they withhold the maximum amount that they can withhold from your check. So 9, they would withhold less money in taxes than they would at 0. So anywhere along that spectrum, you can make claims. Most people associate that with having children or having exemptions. So the more kids you have, they'll typically add an exemption for that. That doesn't necessarily equate to be the exact same thing, because even if you're single with no kids, you could actually have a 1 or 2 or 3 level exemption depending on what else is going on in your life. So what we typically think about when it comes to getting a tax refund is that you over withheld throughout the year, and then the IRS gives you back the money that they didn't have the right to take, because the IRS is not supposed to make a profit. They're only supposed to get what they deserve to get out of the American taxpayer. So when you get a refund, you overpaid, but that means they kept that money all year without giving you any interest. They kept the money, and throughout the year you might have needed that money. You might have been able to say, all right, well, if I had this money, I wouldn't have had to put this item on a credit card. Or if I had this money, I would have more in a cash reserve right now. If I had this money, I would have been able to pay back this other bill. Whatever the case may be, you might need the money throughout the year and not getting it back in a lump sum, especially if you don't save a good portion of that lump sum. So what does it mean if you want to get the money back throughout the year instead of having to wait until the end? Well, you can go to www.irs.gov, type in the search bar withholdings calculator. That will bring up a form from the IRS that you can use to determine what your refund will be, or what it's projected to be for next year's taxes. So in 2021, if you go there today, have your latest pay stub with you when you do that. Take your pay stub. They're going to ask you questions about how much in taxes you've already had withheld, how much is withheld per paycheck, how often you get paid, how many other types of deductions you might have. It'll project out based on what you're doing right now. Your anticipated refund is this. And if you want to get more money in your check, go up to this number on your W-4 form. They'll tell you right then and there what then that will do to your tax refund. So they might say you're on track to get a $3,000 refund. To get the money in your check instead of having to wait for it, change your number of exemptions to this number, and then you will get a $75 refund. But you'll get all of the money up front when you might actually need it. Think about having more money to invest now and earn interest instead of getting a 0% interest rate by getting a refund in April or March of next year. So for some people, it makes more sense to not get the money in a refund, but get it throughout the year. For other people, if you know yourself and you know you need to have forced savings, you don't need the money throughout the year because you'll just waste it, then you might actually need to get the refund. You might not want to have the money throughout the year unless you have a plan to make sure that you don't spend it on something that you don't really need. So if the only time you typically save is getting your tax refund, or that serves as your vacation fund, or what you use to make improvements to your house, or what you put away for emergency, that's something that you can also do. So you have to know yourself to know whether or not it makes sense for you to get the refund. And above all else, check with your tax advisor to make sure that you come up with a good solid plan for what to do about your tax situation. So this is not tax advice. This is a tax suggestion. I am not a tax advisor, but you should check with a tax advisor to see if it makes sense for you to do any of these types of strategies. I'm Shayna Harvey, and this has been Tax Refunds. Make sure that you check out our next video, subscribe to our channel, and see you next time.